Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. So we've got some laptops here. I thought I'd go through laptops in general. They range in different specifications, different qualities, and it all depends on your personal requirements really. So let me start off with this HP Pavilion. Basically it's a 15.6 inch screen, good specs, i5, 16GB of RAM, about 512GB SSD, really good quality. It's got BO audio and it feels dense. However, the problem you have with laptops in general is the batteries. The batteries degrade and the SSDs degrade over time as well. So essentially you get to a point where is it worth upgrading, or because obviously a new battery costs probably around £200 and the SSD you're talking about £100 to £200 as well. For that sort of money you can buy yourself a brand new laptop. So that's what happened. So my dad generously bought me this. This is another laptop. Basically the name of the device is a 53KJ T8 HP laptop, 12th gen i7, 32GB of RAM in this, and obviously it's got good specs, 512GB SSD as well. But this is the new iteration of the laptops they brought out. So I think the Pavilion one that we've got here, that feels nice and sturdy, good quality. It's probably about 5-6 years old, and obviously this is about a year old. But I'll be honest with you, the quality it's plastic. It feels cheap. The screen isn't as good either. So I was felt a bit let down when I got this HP laptop, because I felt, well, I needed a laptop to do various projects, because I find it really useful having an SSD drive on, sorry, not an SSD, I mean an SD card slot. That's one thing I highly recommend, guys. If you're looking for a laptop and you do photography, what you want to do is find a laptop that has a full-size SD card that you can easily you know, upload videos, download videos, swap it between computers. Because basically my setup is I have two iMacs, right? I have my old 27-inch iMac here, which is a good spec, but it's old, and up to a certain point you can't upgrade the OS. So I've got another 27-inch iMac over behind the camera, and basically I use the newest Photoshop on that machine, and I use Final Cut Pro on this machine. Even though it's an old version, it still does its job. I don't really see a need to buy something brand new, costing many thousands of pounds, if an old machine will do the job. Obviously I had to get the newer machine for the new OS that you have to have for the Adobe Photoshop. So obviously I've basically got multiple computers that I use. So basically we got the iMac here, 27-inch for doing Final Cut Pro, the one behind the camera we do the Adobe. I've also got a you know, an 8 octa-core AMD PC for doing sort of I do occasionally like Star Trek commander videos, and I use that for that basically, because PCs are better for gaming. So obviously it's come to a point where I'm thinking, I don't really like this laptop. I don't like using it. Sometimes if you don't feel like using something, it's like, I want to get something different. So that's what we've done. So I may give this to a friend or a relative or someone as a gift if they need a laptop. So I basically went on eBay, and I've always been drawn to the Lenovo laptops, the IBM look ones. You know, basically Lenovo bought out IBM, but they've kept the business look of the IBM computers with that nice red trackpad. So this is what we've got here, and I thought we'd do a bit of an unboxing and go and get it open. So I can get it out of the box then. So it's basically sealed, brand new, but off eBay. I don't tend to buy laptops off eBay, normally it's Amazon, but these things are not easy to find brand new, because they're always refurbished. And unfortunately, I don't know if you know this, but if you buy a refurbished computer, laptop, normally the trackpad is well worn, and it's basically looks mingy and crap, and if you could change out the trackpad, it might be alright. But I don't like getting refurbished laptops because the trackpad always seems rubbish, you know, and they don't tend to last that long. Plus the batteries, you don't know how long the batteries are going to last for. So I would always highly recommend, if you're going to get a laptop, get it new, because you need a battery that has a good life on it. So let's just open this up. Let's have a look what's in the box. Should have a power brick here. So that's the box. As you can see, Thinkpad. I've always liked Thinkpad computers. They just feel good quality, you know. Even though Lenovo is a Chinese company now. So here's the power brick. It's quite slim actually. That's going to be really good for taking on going to airports, you know, because obviously it will take a lot of room in your bag. So yeah, so basically it's a slim power brick. Let's have a look at the power brick. 170 watts though it draws. That's a lot of power. So you may need to get a less powerful one if you want to go on aircraft. Just keep that in mind. So let's have a look at the laptop. As you normally, you get something regarding the setup guide, and I just want to open it up. It's sealed, as you can see, with a padlock sticker on there. Now, the reason that I go for Lenovo laptops is because, I don't know if you can see this on this video here, but you've only got vents on the back, and unfortunately when you've got a laptop on your lap, you're sort of covering some of those vents up, and sometimes you can find your laptop overheating, and laptops overheat a lot. So if you're going to get a big laptop or a gaming laptop, make sure it's got a ton of vents. So like, I just want to show you the vents that we've got on here. All this is vented. We've also got a little door. Now that's the thing with these modern cheap laptops. There's no accessible door to easily gain access. Normally you have to get some prying tools to take the back off. And I just want to show you this, ladies and gentlemen. So in the older laptop here, as you can see, I've actually broken the bottom panel, because sometimes you are trying to figure out what screws to take off where, and you're trying to take it off, and you can damage the cover on the back quite easily. So you have to be really careful. Now I did the same thing on the newer HP laptop with a prying tool. I had to be really careful going the way around because I upgraded the RAM. However, on the Lenovo laptops, they still keep these panels. Now all laptops used to have panels on the back of them. This has a panel, which is great for doing your upgrades. So you can basically put your SSD in there and your RAM upgrades without taking the whole chassis apart, and that's a lifesaver. Anyway, so we were talking about vents, weren't we? So on the back of it you can see all this is vented. Even the door's got some vents on it as well. Then you've got two vents on the back. Now this particular machine is a P15, so it does have two fans. So you've got a set of vents there on the back. Then you've got another vent on the side there, which is doubled up slightly on the underneath of it. You have another vent there on that side, and literally, you've got vents all the way around it to cool it. And if we open it up, it feels quality. You know, it feels like decent. You know, the keyboards on these things are fantastic. There's no movement. If I get the cheaper one that I've got here, the keys feel cheap. You know, and there is lots of travel. But when I press it, I don't feel like I'm pressing a key. It's just like a bit of plastic. Now on this, it just feels solid. The speaker area here looks nice. There's very little flex. That's another thing. You can tell the quality of a keyboard if you start pressing on it, and it flexes. The plastic moves. Now if I do that on this, there's very little flex at all, which means this is quite good quality. Let me just get the other laptop, the HP Pavilion one. Let me just see. Yeah, that's still got some flex in it, even though it's better made than the newer HP one. But again, Lenovo laptops are known for their durability. And also on the webcam here, we have like a privacy button, which literally there's a red dot that comes over the camera, which means no one can see you. So if you're ever concerned about security, on, you know, you're doing some project or you don't want people seeing you, or let's say if a friend suddenly came up and you're really busy and doing something and you just don't want them to see you but you don't mind talking to them, you can put that switch on and it covers the webcam up. So that is really nice, a nice little feature. And also we've got the fingerprint reader on there as well for extra security. But yeah, I could type on this all day long, no problems. And also the great thing with these trackpads is you've got the red trackpad thing in the middle there that you can move around the mouse. And on these trackpads you've also got two buttons at the top. I really like that. So they've gone away from the buttons from the bottom. Like many of the laptops used to have two buttons at the bottom. I never really liked that, but now it's like double click type thing. But on this you've got your main buttons. You can still do your double click, you know, to click on things, moving your mouse around on the trackpad. Again, this is why I recommend you buy brand new, because you get a really nice brand new trackpad that's not being used or mistreated or abused, basically. Apologies guys, the memory card was full. So yeah, I just want to get back to why these Lenovo laptops are really good. So basically you've got your privacy button for your webcam on there. It's nice, well made, and the keyboard has very little travel and you can type on that all day long. Obviously this is the 15.6 inch screen. Now a lot of these laptops, if you're shopping around, are always going to be the 14 inch version, but if you want the big screen, 1920 by 180 resolution, you're going to be wanting the 15.6 inch screen. I just think it's better for watching movies, bigger screen, and obviously you get good reliability out of a brand new battery. And this is my point, going back to where I think buying used laptops isn't the greatest thing in the world. If you can get one in really good condition, that's the trackpad looks mint, go for it. But just be mindful that if the battery is well used, you want to steer clear of it, because the batteries cost a lot of money to get a new battery in a laptop, and sometimes you have to think, is it cost effective? Like I was saying with the HP Pavilion that I got about 6 years ago, where the battery is pretty much knackered, it doesn't hold a charge, and you know the SSD drive has been used for a long time. Sometimes it's just not worth upgrading the thing, and if you've got a few dents on it, dropped it a few times, you know the back cover's broken because you've at some point had a hard time trying to take it off, it might be advisable just to get yourself a brand new laptop. So this is what I've got. I'm a big fan of the Lenovo IBM ThinkPads. They just feel quality, and this is what I'm going to be sticking with, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the Core i5 with Windows 10 Pro. Has a trackpad, privacy button for your webcam, and obviously a long plastic area for your sound. But yeah, in terms of ports, let's have a look what we've got. So guys, I thought I'd give you a closer look at the laptop. So basically it's got lots of cooling on this machine, so you shouldn't have a problem with overheating on these Lenovo laptops. So essentially you do have a backlight button, and the power button's just there if you're wondering. I'm just pointing to it there. So to basically turn the backlight on, all you've got to do is press FN and the spacebar, and it'll come on and it'll light the keyboard up, as you can see. Hopefully you can see that in the video, nicely lit up. And then to turn it back off, you just press the FN and spacebar and it should go off. There you go. So let's talk about the ports, as I've mentioned. Well, it'll give you a better look now. So basically we've got cooling on this right side, and we've got SD card slot, PCI card there, and a USB, and the Kensington lock there. So on the back we've got obviously our power in the middle. That's interesting because normally you have it to one side or the other. We've got two USB-C, another port which seems to be SS, not sure what that refers to, but no doubt you'll be able to find out. And obviously the Ethernet cable there, so if you want to be hardwired to the internet you can be. Obviously we've got two fans either side with lots of cooling. So if you look at the back of it here, as you can see, there's lots of cooling there. So you know, basically you shouldn't experience overheating on your lap. So that's obviously that. And then obviously we'll look on the other side here. Again, another vent for cooling. We've got a HDMI cable and another USB. And obviously the combi headphone and microphone jack, the 3.5 jack. So essentially that's our laptop. The reason I go for these is they're well made. They last a long time. I had an i3 Lenovo laptop that lasted about 5 years. You will struggle to get 5 years out of a laptop if it's not well made. And obviously the addition of a full-size SD card, very welcomed in terms of the slot. So you can do your video editing through SD quite easily, and you've got lots of ports there. The sound seems really rich, so if we just sign in, I'll just give you a sound of what it sounds like.
Because let's face it, if you're at the beach, you're having a good time, the sun's probably out, and you're in a good mood. Unless you're sweating out the hangover you just got from last night. But what I just mentioned actually has some relevance. So the point that a lot of these bar girls and freelancers, it is their job a lot of the time to receive drinks, and you know, if a freelancer's going out on a night out.
So that's how it sounds. If I'm honest with you, speakers seem rich, deep, good audio, and no problems there. So that is the P15 Lenovo laptop. I'll put the full description in the description box. It's a ThinkPad P15 Gen 1 i5 laptop with 16GB of RAM and a 512GB SSD drive. Now I got this on eBay for £469. Brand new and sealed. I think if you were to get this from the manufacturer, you're talking around £1,000, because this is the full setup. Now it has NVIDIA graphics, the 1000 series I believe, so you've got good graphics performance. Obviously it's not going to blow away gaming in terms of any sort of high spec gaming, but you should be able to get by with any sort of medium settings or low settings on most of the top end games, and any old games you'll be able to run it at maximum, because I play a lot of old games myself, generally speaking. That's essentially the look at the P15 Lenovo laptop. I'm impressed with the quality. Feels nice and sturdy. There's very little flex. Fingerprint reader it works fine, no problem. This is the actual trackpad red button that is quite famous on these ThinkPads, and as you can see, I'm moving the mouse around quite nicely, and it's really fast and nicely controlled. Obviously we've got a trackpad here, our buttons left and right, and I like them, I really do. I think they're good quality. Now they're designed for business obviously, but for the average user who wants something sturdy, it's a really good laptop. However, let's talk about the negatives. The negatives is the thickness of it. It's significantly thicker than my other laptops. If we put them side by side, it's about a quarter thicker. In some and some of the small laptops you might think this is like double the thickness. However, it's durable, and that is my new laptop, ladies and gentlemen. So I just wanted to give you a look. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this video is insightful. In terms of getting something durable, it's always worth spending the extra money, ladies and gentlemen. Don't cheap out. You know, obviously this is a cheap laptop that will do its job. You know, it's basically a cheap laptop designed for the budget market. It does the job. However, if you want something a bit more substantial, you know, you want something like this, which is basically, in my view, a good replacement for a desktop, and it should last a while. And you know, they're just well made. You know, you can tell. It does seem to get marks on it in terms of grease off your hands. So if that's a thing for you, you might not want to get one of these. But they're just sturdy, you know. Like the hinges here are made out of metal. You know, it's well made. Anyway, in terms of build quality, I'll give it pretty much 10 out of 10. There's very little flex. Even the keyboard is not flexing, and that's rare. I've never seen that. You know, if I get this other keyboard here, there's lots of flex there. The older, more well-made one here, well, it doesn't flex as much. There's still some flex there. You can tell a good keyboard by how much it flexes. And if you get a keyboard that doesn't flex at all, that's a really well-made laptop. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.